Welcome to Writer Reading for May 2026, Zombie Survival Awareness Month. This month I will be reading the chapters of How to Become a Crazy Cat Lady to Survive the Zombpocalypse. How to Become a Crazy Cat Lady to Survive the Zombpocalypse, Chapter 5. The rain had stopped. The view was amazing in the dappled sunlight. To the east they could see the whole of Patterson Park, and to the south the harbor. Drying it with a towel, Theodora sat down in a metal chair and demanded again, "Prince Pharaoh Bakre, tell me what you know." Resisting rolling her eyes, Babs took off her mask and inhaled deeply before repeating verbatim what she researched and shared with her fellow library staff and many of their clients. She finished with, "His name was stricken from all dynasty records, and Egyptologists theorize it is possibly because he was a worshipper of Ra, the sun god." Theodora harumphed, interrupting, "That is only part of the story. He was a power-mad prince who believed he could usurp the rule of his family's kingdom by drinking the blood of a sunstone to become a true immortal. But my tale is for another time." She nodded to herself. Then Theodora questioned the methods by which Babs sterilized the books to make certain they wouldn't be destroyed like the ones during the Spanish flu, smallpox, and scarlatina epidemics of the past. Babs explained about the UV light box and disinfecting aerosol fan box. "So you see, the paper is completely sanitized from any infectious organism." "Good. I'm glad. I would hate for the books to be destroyed." "You should get home while the sun is shining. The infected don't like it when the sun is shining. When my great-grandsons get here, I and my cats will come get you. Remember, don't talk to strangers. Don't let anyone into the library. Just go inside and lock the door." The elderly scholar stared out at the city with a sadness that felt oppressive as she muttered, "Those fools have killed us all." "Email when you are ready for more books, Mrs. Thorpe," Babs responded as she put her mask back on, but the elderly lady just petted her cat and stared at the harbor. "Goodbye, ma'am?" Unanswered, Babs went down the stairs with several cats following her and mewing. Somehow her coat was off the hook and 3 cats were laying on it. Groaning, Babs picked it up and shook the fur from it, then put it on. It was too cool to be without it, and the heater in the e-car drained the battery very quickly. She practically ran from the house, vowing she would not wear her contact lenses again if she had to come back. Shooing several more cats off the top of her car, she got in and drove east toward the park. Turning, she headed south, then west, curving north through the Little Italy neighborhood instead of going back to the interstate. The left on Lombard carried her to Howard Street, where the right turn took her north. As she waited at the lights, there were only a few other cars crossing the intersections. Making the quick jog at Mulberry, she turned on Park, passing the homeless man she saw earlier, before turning into the delivery entrance of the library. He shuffled back and forth in front of a partially demolished brownstone, then crossed the street. Sneezing violently as she got out of her car, Babs plugged it in, then started toward him. "Sir, I'm sorry, you can't come back here." He looked strange, with pallid mottled skin and dark purple smears around his lips, nose, and eyes, like running mascara. He didn't answer or make a sound as he stumbled toward her, with his hands clawing the air in front of him. "You need to stop or I'll spray." Babs began to sneeze again and dropped her pepper spray. As she scrambled to pick it up, he grabbed her arm and bit down on her coat sleeve. Then he released her and backed away. She sprayed him in the face and fled the noxious cloud. Swiping her key card, the door unlocked with a click. She yanked it open, then pulled it to make it close more quickly before she barred it. She gagged at the burn of pepper spray, mixed with the stench of the drunk's discolored drool on her sleeve. It smelled yeasty, like bad ale or moldy bread. Gasping for breath, she stumbled down the stairs to her apartment, stripping as she went. Wheezing because of the cat dander and pepper spray fumes, Babs knew she was having an allergic asthma attack. She stuffed everything she was wearing in the washer with bleach and detergent. Her keys, wallet, and pepper spray went into the small basket she kept on the laundry room shelf with her detergent. She staggered in her underwear to her apartment, letting herself in as she sucked a dose of medication from her rescue inhaler. As soon as she could breathe, she dialed 911 to report the man who tried to attack her. A synthetic voice answered. "You have reached the 911 emergency services system. There are no operators available at this time. If you are suffering an imminent life-threatening emergency, please call your local firehouse. If this is not an imminent life-threatening emergency, please leave a message with your name, address, and the nature of the situation, and an officer will contact you shortly." "My name is Babette Bland. I live and work at the Enoch Pratt Public Library. Someone tried to attack me in the delivery area. I think he's drunk or something. He smelled like ale and he tried to bite me. I pepper sprayed him and escaped. I'm afraid he'll attack my elderly neighbor. Please send someone to arrest him." Wheezing out the information, Babs then hung up and staggered into the bathroom to shower. The inhaled medication and shower vapors helped her breathe easier. As her adrenaline wore off, she suddenly felt very tired. Drying herself quickly, she dressed in a warm sweatsuit and collapsed onto her bed. She called Bill but got his voicemail, so she told him she loved him. Struggling to breathe, she fell asleep while waiting for rescue services to call back. Hours later, Babs woke up. Her chest was tight, her throat scratchy, but she was breathing easier. Trading her contact lenses for glasses, she went to the security room on the first floor. From the dim image from the camera, she could see the man still waiting out in the garage near the door. Scowling, she dialed 911, then called back and ended up leaving another voicemail on the non-emergency line. She called Mrs. Pratt to warn her about the lingering drunk. "Hello?" "Matilda, it's Babette. Don't go outside. There's a violent drunk wandering around outside the library. I called the police to come collect him," Babs explained, as she started putting her groceries away and pulling the bag she hastily stuffed in the refrigerator out to unpack them. She felt so tired, almost feverish and achy. She just wanted to go back to sleep, and she sniffed. "Oh my, are you okay? You aren't sick?" Matilda sounded very worried. Yes, no, I'm fine. I pepper sprayed him and breathed a little. I got away, then locked myself in the library. Do you need anything before I go to bed? Babs yawned. No, hun. I'm fine. Thanks for letting me know. I can't reach my grandkids. I might go check on them and stay for a few days, Matilda announced. When I delivered Miss Thorpe's groceries and books, the guy at the US 40 checkpoint told me they were changing the curfew times, Babs revealed. They're moving us to level 2. Thanks for telling me. You take care and call me if you need anything tonight. She suddenly sounded very grim and determined. And Babette, thank you for all you do to take care of the library and protect the books. Yes, ma'am. Good night. Good night, hun. On the security camera feed, Babs watched the man standing at the loading dock like he couldn't figure out how to climb the 3 steps. A car went by and he stumbled back out onto the street. Shaking her head, she wondered what he was on. She decided from the smudges around his mouth and nose that he was probably a huffer, but she couldn't figure out why paint would be around his eyes. Thinking about Matilda and that she might leave in the morning, Babs decided to lure him to the other side of the block in hopes he would wander away. Going out to the front of the library, she noted how eerily quiet the city was while she walked through the fog to the corner. And this is how you die in a horror movie, she taunted herself quietly to bolster her courage. The drunk was standing in the middle of the road. Hey! Hey, you! I called the cops! You better get out of here! She shouted at him. When he started shuffling toward her, she sprinted to the front of the library. Peeking around the corner and holding her breath so she wouldn't wheeze, she watched him stumble across the street. But he didn't turn to follow her. He just kept going north on Park Avenue. Going back inside, Babs relocked and dropped the security gate on the front door. Breathing slowly while walking around, she checked all the windows to make sure none were damaged. Then she glanced out at the Unity Baptist Church, thinking the wet bricks looked blood red in the mist and streetlights. Across from the front of the library, she looked at the closed Sisters' Soup Kitchen next to the Baltimore Catholic Basilica. With its white marble facade and Roman architecture, it looked like a mausoleum. She shuddered. This city looked creepy in the fog and the streetlights, not at all like San Francisco. It felt as though death was blanketing the city. Babs shuddered involuntarily again, then went back to the 3rd floor. She pulled a paperback cozy romance off a shelf and went back to her apartment. Looking at the clock, she realized she was an hour late to take her antidepressant. Opening the bottle, she only had 15 left. She used her phone to send the refill request for it, her inhaler, and allergy pills. She also submitted her grocery order pickup. 2 weeks was plenty of time for Bill to get better, so she hoped, as she sent another text to him. On her flat screen, she started a video tour of the Appalachian Trail in autumn, then settled in to escape into a book. Early the next morning, the police still had not called or come. Babs called Matilda and left a message for her that the man wandered away. Across the street, she saw a few people wandering up and down the sidewalks. Most were going into the churches, and none came to get books. So she thought about her visit to Mrs. Thorpe rather than panic about not hearing from Bill. She ran her coat and gloves through the machine 3 more times to get all the cat hair off, and still ended up using packing tape to pull the last of the fur from her coat. Why does she have to be obsessed with cats? Babs wondered aloud while checking her laundry during her breaks. She gave up on her cotton gloves and threw them away in favor of a new pair. She did not understand how cat fur could stick to everything the way it did. She started calling the hospitals at noon when she hadn't heard from Bill. But no one knew if he was there when someone answered the phone. One coughing nurse yelled at her if he came to the hospital, then he was already dead and cremated, before going on a rant that they were all dead and the city should be burned. Babs hung up on the woman's terrifying outburst. At 5 p.m., she left her desk and turned down the lights. That night, she watched the news for the first time in weeks. It's official, folks. The Federal Quarantine Department says we are going back on level 2 lockdown. Your zones and errand days are the same as last time. If you don't know what yours are, then log into the Baltimore Civil Services webpage to see the maps. If the infection rate increases above 60%, confirmed infections, then the FQD will go to level 1. And remember, there's no leniency for offenders if we go to level 1. The anchor talked about mask and glove precautions, even for those meeting outdoors, the limitations on purchasing disinfectants and PPGs. Then another man spoke of the return of cashless sales, the effect on the economy, and announced all public buildings were closed for the next 2 weeks. Babs groaned because it meant the library would be closed too. No one would pick up or order books to be delivered. When the announcer started talking about the news from the CDC and how the disease was some sort of fungal pneumonia causing respiratory failure, Babs turned off the volume to wait for the weather. A cheerful blonde with a slight cough announced the weather would be mild and dry overnight, temperatures dropping into the 40s. They made a joke about only seeing the fall foliage from the other side of the glass again this year, before a bald man talked about the canceled NFL season. Uncaring about sports, she turned off the news, leaving the channel on the weather station just to hear someone else's voice. She texted Bill again, begging him or a nurse or anyone who read the text to please call her. Then she went to sleep after her usual rounds to check the library. There was nothing she could do but wait it out. Next time, Chapter 6.